Nope, that's the sports deck. There we go. Kind of. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Blathering. StreamYard changed their back end, and I like a lot of it, but they also made it difficult to see what overlay I'm bringing up. So if you watched on the video side, for a second you thought this was all sports deck, which during the football season, I don't know how I'm going to work it out yet. Especially, when I'm living in a tent in a park. But we are going to have a sports desk show. Trying to figure out the best time to do it. Because I'm so excited for football season. I have been watching, I love NFL, the quarterback series on Netflix. It's so good. And every week, I dislike Kirk Cousins more, but yet also feel sorry for him. And I want you all to watch and follow the journey with me because I legitimately think he's a nice guy. I legitimately think his heart is in the right place, but he's one of those people that just says, I don't really like the political process. I just like bringing joy to the world. And you just... We're going to talk about some news tonight. The Late Show franchise is dead, and we're going to dive into it. You all might be surprised at my take on it, and I'll just give you the tease. Yeah, it's 2025. Who the fuck's watching any of these shows? PBS NPR gone. That concerns me because my favorite radio station might be affected. Not NPR here in LA, 88.5 FM. The United Kingdom has lowered the vote, or is in the talks, or we'll talk to Matty Goddard. We'll see if he can get in here. A 16-year-old's going to maybe start voting over there. Good, bad? Should that happen here? I think years ago I would have said no. Then I would have said yes. Now I'm like, I don't know. That actually almost seems fun. And then GOT, some calls, some sports. The NFL season, as I said, is still coming closer. So here we go. Everyone's checking in here. Tully's here. Adam Knight's here. JMB's here. Laserbolt's here. But Laserbolt might be in the wilderness cooking some meat. Mandalorian Jedi. Ryan's here, who is, got a deep connection to the world of Al Capone we learned last week that I still think is really cool. Jared the Type Pilot, we'll be talking some GOT, as I said. We are going to be getting to one of my favorite little sequences in all of Game of Thrones in this Season 6, Episode 3 review. Thanks for letting me do that, by the way. I know not everyone has seen Game of Thrones. I know a lot of you maybe don't engage with it while we're covering it here, but I love clipping out and putting it on Casterly Talk and kind of keeping that channel going, and it just makes it easy to do here. So there you go. Yeah, I don't think so, Tully. I really disagree with it. This is like the Acolyte thing. Acolyte was canceled because it was too expensive and not good. And I do think we are seeing the end of TV as we know it. And I do think, Trump calling Les Moonves is possible and probably maybe did happen. But this is about network television gone. We're done. ESPN gone. All the standbys gone. Evening news, local news. You're going to start seeing local news fall by the wayside. We are in a new paradigm, and I think it's either get on with the boat and sail into the future, or a lot more jobs will be lost here in this town, and it takes away a lot of jobs. But that's part of the problem. A show like The Late Show employs a lot of people, and it's too expensive for the return. It just is. And look, I used to want to be a late night talk show host. I won't ever get to do that. But this is all you need now. And I also think Colbert will be better for it. We'll get to that. And Tully says this: the idea that Colbert outlived Fallon is insane. It is insane because I don't like Jimmy Fallon. He's a punchline of one of my jokes. But Colbert did take his show in a direction that might also, yes, make a president mad, but also just a lot of people not going to watch that. You want proof of that? Look at Force Center. Look at my stuff. People are less engaged by that unless you go about it in a certain way, and he goes about it in a great way. So it's a loss. Don't get me wrong, Tully. It's a loss. If this has been coming for a while. Tonight Show, Saturday Night Live are kind of institutionalized. Late Show is as well, but it's new in a way, in a lot of ways. So I just think we're in a new era, and I would love to find anyone who regularly watched The Late Show on Channel 2, CBS LA, or anything else at 11:30 or 11:35 at night. I just don't. I don't find anyone I just don't find that these days. So to get to that, we're going to bring in. I didn't do the 2-shot last week. I apologize, Steve. On Monday, you didn't get your FaceTime. You were in a little box.
I like my little box. Hey, Ken.
Oh, good.
Hey, everybody.
How you doing?
Thank you again, as always. Happy Thursday. No, I like my little box, Ken. I'm happy. I feel safe down there. You know.
I like feeling safe. I like feeling safe. And no one in this town should feel safe. The industry's done. It's gone. It's changing. And this is just the next step for me. What's your gut reaction here on the Late Show being kaput?
Yeah, this is real reaction too, because you told me this right before we started, and I thought when you said Colbert got canceled, I thought he had done something nefarious and bad, yes. And I was like, oh no, not Colbert, like no.
We should have been rolling tape. Steve was like, the Sunday school teacher?
But yeah, no, I am a little bummed. I'm a little more surprised, I think, than you. I think of them as the institutions. I just see those. It's surprising that kind of comes out of nowhere. I mean, they're not axing it like tomorrow. They're sunsetting it in 2026, so it is a little. They're giving them the victory lap and all that kind of stuff. But I don't know when we talk about the whole NPR thing, PBS thing too. But this is another sign of information is no longer a public service, Ken. Information for the last 60, 70 years since the invention of the radio, it was in a way a public service. Radio was free over the air. TV channels, several were free over the air, always have been. And now the privatization of information is hitting NPR and PBS and Arthur, Ken. They got Arthur. I don't like Arthur either, but canceling his budget is too much.
I really agree with you. That's why, and like I said, the network television that's a big thing to me. It still exists, but we had a story recently where I think Iger was like, nah, Disney's going to still have a channel. Like most people are like, yeah, we don't need a channel anymore. We'll figure it out. And again, does it all work? No. Does streaming all work? No. Does having all my music on one little app work? No. This is all problematic. I'm not celebrating the Late Show going away. I'm just kind of like, I saw that news not too long before you and I sat down here, and I'm like, yeah, of course. Have you looked out the window and see what's going on? But the PBS NPR is rather direct. And I do believe it is kind of what you're talking about. It is. I love what you're saying. Privatized information. Oof, that sounds dangerous. It isn't just about Sabrina Carpenter and Tiny Desk concerts. It's about what Ken Burns on PBS, all those kind of things. And this is all not great, but it is what it is. And I just sometimes I don't know what to do with that kind of stuff. When it comes to that was my dream. In my high school yearbook, I wrote Carson, Leno, Letterman, Napzok. That's where I wanted to go. Look at that wouldn't have happened. Look at this face. They wouldn't have let this beard on late night. But it doesn't exist. It doesn't exist anymore. And I'm quite frankly surprised if Saturday Night Live is not on the chopping block in the near future. Just God forbid, rest in peace. Or not rest in peace, but keep Lorne Michaels alive. God, keep Lorne Michaels alive. It'll be. There's no need for it anymore. No need for it anymore. TikTok, sketch people. That's where you go now.
The boomers aren't gone yet, Ken. They're in their 60s and 70s. They're not in the ground. They need something to do for the next 20 years. So, Moonves and Michaels and all of them, they're going to come up with something. Ken, someone is watching FBI International. They have 10 million viewers every Wednesday, and it's the same thing as you telling me no one's watching Colbert. Who the hell is watching CSI? Indiana,
you are
CSI
correct.
Des Moines. With all these different.
Sorry, I'm cutting you off,
Please. It's your show.
I apologize. No, yes, it is, but that's not right. If you were Alden, you could go for an hour, but that's tomorrow morning, and we're going to talk about this tomorrow. So tune into the Anytime tomorrow.
All right.
I do agree with you that there's still millions watching those shows, right? Yeah. I have seen people correctly rebuff the snarkiness on CSI, Des Moines, but still there's those people watching. You are right about that. It's one of those things of but we're also, that ain't going to last. And I think if you look at the cost, might as well change now. And I think, like I said, I think there's a positive in this for fans of Colbert or Colbert himself. you could get a deal on a streamer, and now you're maybe a little bit more free, unfettered.
Well, forgive my ignorance, Ken. Is a late night show expensive to produce? I mean, your budget is guests, no? Yeah.
No, your budget your host. Look how much Letterman's making. I don't know Colbert's deal, but that's a studio space. That is, I forget where does he still shoot at Ed Sullivan? I don't know if he's at Ed Sullivan. But that space, staff of 10 to 15, 20 writers assistants, host assistants, hair, makeup, blah, 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 blah. I'm not going to, run down the list like you're all idiots. You all get it. Security, PR, like watch Hacks. you see how big it is. And that is the way of the dinosaur, unfortunately. That's what I think.
Well, I mean, I'm interested to see what he does next. I think I'm a huge John Oliver fan. I was a huge fan of what he went from doing his, kind of fill-in at the Daily Show to what he's done at Last Week Tonight. I think that weekly model, I think Jon Stewart's had success with that. Sometimes less is more. Especially in between election cycles the way we are. I don't know. I maybe this is just an opportunity for them to kind of, a la Avengers, just, Stewart, Colbert, Oliver, they get together here for something by the midterms, and we have some kind of a new program that will make us all happier about how shitty everything is.
I don't hate that either. Plume is right. Colbert not editing for a year probably because they had a lot of pre-sold advertising on it. Yeah, I agree with that as well. No, the Avengers of late night political commentary. He's Trevor Noah. He's Jon Stewart. I can be on that.
Are you one of these guys? This reminds me. I have always wanted to ask you this, Ken. Are you one of these guys that's wanted to see Jon Stewart run for office?
No, I love John. I love John probably more than even other people do right now because there's always that weekly battle of which side John is on, which it just exhausts me. We know what side he's on, but he's also getting up there, and so he just has a different perspective. I think he's more effective where he is now.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of like the really good senator that you don't necessarily want to take off the board because they're in this. Right. John is he can honestly probably affect more change in the space that he is now versus if you actually step into the ring, you really do. I don't know. You sow a different division, but yeah.
Yeah. No. He would want that. That's a lot of work.
And he said several times. But he is the one that is like put out there as far as the liberal celebrities that people think could be electable / might actually have a good chance. It's better than Oprah or The Rock. Like
the left's Trump. Is that what this is about? The left's Trump. Oprah. No. Maybe in 1993, like that, there would have been that was the window. She should have run she should have primaried Clinton in '96. Bob Dole says Oprah Winfrey show's good, but she shouldn't be president. That's what Bob Dole says. And then The Rock he'd run he'll run whatever Elon's party is. That's what The Rock will run as. That's what I think. So
don't put that idea out there.
When is the PBS NPR? Sorry, I'm forcing you to have a bunch of information at your fingertips that you just might not have. When does the PBS NPR stuff come into effect? Because my poor favorite radio station is going to be gone.
So my understanding is it's not going to happen like overnight. This is their budget got cut, so their budget was zeroed out essentially from how I read it. So
and correct me if I'm wrong too, but budget that a lot of it was already appropriated and in place, and they're pulling back things that were already approved.
Right. So this was I think that's how they just with this new budget reconciliation. It is a rewrite of essentially everything as far as I understand it, or everything it touches at least. But yeah, no, this is basically they're zeroing out the budget for NPR for PBS, and so this will. Whenever the government fiscal year, I guess, begins next, but I'm not going to pretend to actually know. I just know that whenever their next, whatever money they have now, Ken, they better hold on to it. Is all I think I understand.
Yeah, a couple months ago, I applied for a job at that radio station. I really wanted to get it. Would have been a full-time DJ, 88.5. It's on Cal State Northridge campus, but it's going to be affected by this, and yeah. I wouldn't have lasted. I'd be back out on the street, and it's just sad, tragic. And it goes back to what you're saying. I like your point again about the information and who controls it. But I also think that's the new battlefield, right? So we got to figure out how to fight.
No, they know that, Ken. That's why this is happening. It isn't just the battlefield. This is happening on foreign policy levels. When you look at cyber war down to the social propaganda stuff of Fox News in the 80s to now, the commercialization of information is a drawback and a downside of the world getting smaller from a communication standpoint, right? One of the benefits that we had of what you could call legacy media and print media and radio media for the last few hundred years from the invention of the newspaper was that, yes, you had to pay for some newspapers, but a lot of news was free, right? The radio was, once you bought a radio, was free. The news on TV was free. You're going to have to buy News Plus soon to get your news. You're going to have to get, you know what I mean? Like and that is by design, right? Because look at that and then ask why are they dismantling the Department of Education, Ken? Why are we getting rid of things that allow people who don't have a lot to excel from one kind of level of living to another from a financial standpoint? These things are domino effects, and they're not by coincidence.
No, not at all. It's why when I get in that argument about the charter schools and versus the public schools and what we're doing and who gets to go in, and it's just it is the new. When I say it's the new battlefield, that it isn't about the left fighting there, Joe Rogan. It isn't, but it's just like this is where we're at now. And Charlie Kirk and Tim Pool and all those fucks are they're out there. So maybe. NPR out here in LA has got some wonderful programming. So I don't know. Maybe we kickstart it. I don't know. I don't know. I just don't know. But it's sad, depressing. We do have though breaking news from Jared. My uncle is the producer at NPR, and I text every couple months to be like, "How are y'all doing?" And they're spooked. Not quite scared yet, but a little spooked. I'm going to text them again tomorrow. We'll get the update tomorrow. Okay. We'll get the update tomorrow. There you go.
Yeah, where I live, Ken, PBS is huge. There's a huge PBS office right near me. NPR has a station here as well around DC. I work with several people who are involved in that. I've known people who are involved in it. It's fucking sad and infuriating, Ken. I hope it's 19 minutes. I hope I don't get dinged for anything for swearing already. But no, man, it's someone who's especially was a trained journalist in school. I'm sure all feels the same way. Like, this is the kind of stuff that is attacking. It's the fourth estate, damn it. We're supposed to be somewhat of important, the press and the idea of a free press. Like, this is it's literally not free anymore. Not from just an opinion standpoint, but money. Yeah, sorry, I'll get off my soapbox now. It's
the great soapbox. Look, an earthquake hits, and sometimes I look for information. I have to sign up for a year's subscription to LA Times.
Oh yeah, for sure, and that's by design, Ken.
Yeah,
that's the scariest part, man.
Yeah, no, I think this is why. Like, I shed no tears for the Late Show. I really don't. It is a dinosaur, and what I mean by that, why I'm saying that kind of forcefully, is this is the world that has been created, and how do we go forward with it? And how do we? And I think it is shows like this. I think it is having these kind of conversations. I think it is not back. I think it is making Force Center more political. I think it is making your comedy political, and that's the town square right now.
Yeah, absolutely. Now. But I'm so glad you said that, Ken, because we can't lose the town square. If Twitter really is going to become our town square, we are beyond cooked, as the kids say. Like, we need a real town square, whether that's a free media, whether that's people's like AI is going to make this a whole scary thing anyways. But the sanctity of the town square and free, true information is something that is very much in danger. And I know I sound like a bleeding heart saying that, but it's true.
No,
it really is.
It's all what's going on, man. It is. Tully says I'm alone on the internet with this take. Because I'm realistic and I work in this fucking town, man. Like, I'm sorry, Tully. Like, this is not a tragedy to lose the Late Show. No one watches it. No one can get staffed on it. No one. It's archaic. It's archaic.
You're absolutely right, and you made a great point about ESPN and that also going the same way. Like that legacy media, that type of stuff is going away. It is going away. The fact that we ripped the Band-Aid off first with Colbert is the surprising part to me. The fact that it wasn't Fallon first, the fact that it wasn't like one of these other shows, because Colbert I just thought
dopey. Because Fallon's dopey.
I get it. Yeah.
I got. I went out on Superman. and talking about how it's wonderfully political and everything, and I fought some, people in my hometown. Then I had some other people in my life who are very political, very left-wing, who were like, I hated Superman because I just wanted to escape, and it was 2-1-for-1 with the world, and I wanted to fight them on it, but I also was shocked, right? Because Colbert made a choice.
Yeah.
Made a choice. And they're spending a lot of money for that choice. And I'm glad he made that choice. I want him to take it elsewhere. I want him to have the Stephen Colbert show. That's what I want.
Right.
And it will be more effective, I think.
And I am excited for what he does next. I think that'll be cool. But you're right. To me, the sad part, Ken, is not that we're losing the Late Show as much. I mean, that's sad. But to me, this is another domino falling in all of the shit I was just talking about. And to me, this is a pretty big one from a public seeing it standpoint, right? We don't really notice how subtly our local news has gotten shittier and shittier over time, or how different companies have bought up almost all of our local news companies, all that boring stuff. Right. But people notice when the Late Show gets canceled.
They will now. They do now. More to come. Maybe if more people vote. And one way to get more people to vote, Producer Steve, is to lower the voting age. The UK looks primed to do this. We got that Prime Minister face you can't remember. What? I go so many directions at once with this.
Yeah.
And because you want to take it, the only thing I saw, I only had enough time today. Sorry, I was editing video all day. Was him saying, look, if you go out and get a job and you're paying taxes and you're paying into this country, like, you should have a say in it. And that was along the same lines of, over here, you're going to go fight for our country, die for our country. Maybe you should be able to vote for the country. Let's lower the age to 18. 100%. So I like that on the surface. Let's lower that sucker. Let's let the 16-year-olds vote. All right, maybe 17-year-olds vote. But then, like I said, my mind goes, poof, and I don't know if we want that. Not for kids. The people I know who have 16-year-olds, boys, and the people they look up to, I don't know if I want them taken out of the voting booth quite yet. But I don't know, Steve. What do you say?
So I see exactly where you're coming from, and I agree. I think, Ken, God, man, this sounds even like I'm even more of a bleeding heart. Ken, the issue here is maybe we don't need 16-year-olds to vote, or not vote, to work. Because I totally agree with you. If they're going to vote, if they're going to work, if they're going to pay taxes, go into the system, blah, 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 have a voice, taxation without representation,
I like that angle.
With you on that. How about we just raise labor laws so that if you're under 18, you can't work because you shouldn't work because you're a fucking kid and you should be growing up and experiencing life and everything. Social safety net should help the people who would otherwise need to be working to help support their family in a more, perfect world where we have, no, Ken, we need to spend our money on concentration camps in Florida, obviously.
So come on. Those gators ain't going to menace people on their own.
Right, exactly. So that's why I would say maybe
I like that angle.
But if you're going to do the thing where the labor, again, if you're going to tax them, if you're going to work them, you have to give them a vote at the table. You have to give them a seat at the table. Period.
Yes, yeah. But I like it. I hadn't thought about that angle yet. I was just terrified of all the Joe Rogan fans I know who are 16, 17, and 18 going, what does he say? We'll vote for that. Or Elon,
they're just turning 18 and doing it anyway. So
yeah. But now we got it 2 years earlier.
Right. Their little brothers are counting their vote too.
I think, look, I was part of the MTV Rock the Vote generation, which was scary to the standard bearers of politics during the times. It was terrifying.
Ken, I had P. Diddy telling me vote or die. So how do you think I feel?
You're gonna let these kids ask President Clinton if he wears boxers or briefs, or Governor Clinton at the time? Like, you're gonna we can't let this happen. You're gonna get kids interested, and I think it worked. So while I do think you're gonna find more liberals or forward thinkers or progressives or whatever term you want to put on them when they're younger. I think that's changed a bit to the point where I'm with you. How about we don't capitalism? How about we don't that? And we let these kids.
Loud, Shh, don't say that too loud. Careful.
Is that what Colbert said? Maybe he called himself a democratic socialist. he wouldn't do that. He still believes in Jesus, even though that's who they are. No. Maybe that's it. Let them form a little bit more.
Yeah, maybe let's not rely on 16-year-olds in the workforce.
Maybe
I'm sorry if that's a radical thought, but
maybe let's not send 18-year-olds to battle.
Well, let's not get ahead of ourselves. Easy now, Ken. Come on, someone has to do the work.
Someone has to do the dirty work. All right, that was the final thing of the news thing, other than leg disease. I wrote down leg disease, and I can't even remember. Was that for Trump?
So Trump has some vein disease or disorder thing. I'm not going to pretend to be a scientist and know what it is. All I saw was the Google trends for it, and then the Google trends of, is this certain thing fatal? And just thought, if that's not an indictment of where our country is, I don't really, hey.
Look, I'm still stuck on whatever the fuck was going on with his hand, and the answer is pretty simple. It's makeup covering probably an IV.
So no, but they're just lumping it all together now. So this whole thing came about because he was at the FIFA World Cup, and he had a picture taken where he had ankles that looked like Prince Charles's or King Charles's like fingers, right?
I saw it. Yeah.
Yeah, and so they had to there was like, okay, we have to say something at this point. Like, we can't. We know that people are stupid, but we got to deflect. Hey, we'll talk about this, and maybe they'll forget that you're a pedophile. So they went with the whole. He has this vein thing, and then so now they're like, oh, the hand thing, vein thing. So now literally anything can, I think, for the next week and a half, just the vein thing. It can all be chalked up to the vein thing.
So I think it's important to maybe say, is the vein thing on Epstein's list? Let's just combine it. Let's just always turn it back to that. Let's just always. Hi, President, we noticed your health is in question. Are you going to be healthy enough to face charges for being on Epstein's list? Let's just boo, big bad. No, look. We try. Yeah, we try. Look, this is what happens when you get older, right? This is, you know how much goddamn lotion I put on my hands, Steve, to make sure that the day I look down and my hands look old. They already look older. You're still just young enough, bud. I know you got a kid. I know you're a family man, but you wait till you get to about mid-40s and you see your hand on camera and you're like, "Fuck, my grandpa's here." So this is what happens. I put so much lotion, it's almost obscene, and it doesn't work. So this is what happens. So I was like, this is all kind of normal. Stuff. I don't think he's on death's door. I really don't. But it is fascinating to track with everything going on. Much like that guy herding the photographers into place in Pennsylvania on the assassination attempt, like we talked on Monday. Too. Yeah, I saw a little bit more of that.
Interesting one. Kissinger lived to like 100. This isn't
like Jared says. We're not that lucky.
Yeah.
All right. Any final news notes, Steve?
I think that's it, Ken. I think we went over. Yeah, I mean, public information is going away. The UK is going to give the vote to the kids in Twitch chat streams, and there's the pop culture news thing today. Do you want to talk about that at some point?
Yeah. So then we got Game of Thrones. So perfect transition.
Okay. So you want to go there first?
No, I want you to go pop culture.
Okay, Okay, yeah. So this was the thing that made me happiest on social media today, Ken. And I'm like I said, we've talked a little bit about it, and I guess I'll mention later. But I'm still in a state of grieving. So laughing at someone else's pain weirdly made me happy this morning. Okay, that's fair. But I thought it was for fair reasons.
Okay, yeah. We'll allow.
So there was an incident that if you didn't see this, just Google this. There was an incident at a Coldplay concert last night, Ken. You know how they do the kiss cam on the jumbotron.
Oh, yeah. This was on my list to talk about, Steve.
Okay, excellent.
Did you not see my list? I saw yours.
I didn't see your list. I'm sorry. But yeah, so for people, maybe there's plenty of people watching who don't know what the heck we're talking about. What are you guys talking about? Coldplay concert and couples and everything. So there was a CEO and a CFO or an HR head who were caught canoodling on the jumbotron of a Coldplay concert. And it was one of the funniest videos I think I've ever seen. Just bare reactions, like not even really knowing because I was just kind of like doing the morning scroll of like, what am I looking at? It was just like, so and so caught on the jumbotron. So you're just kind of watching it, and then you see it happen, and this dude ducks down like he was like getting shot at by a sniper, just to leave this poor woman to dry, Ken. And then the girl next to them has the biggest grin on her face, like she knows, like, oh, I know what just happened and everything that is going to go down at the company and all the repercussions for this, because it was literally the CEO and the head of the HR cuddling on the jumbotron, and they weren't supposed to be doing that, Ken.
I love this clip. I love this clip because I saw it first on one of those like clickbaity titles. Affair exposed at Coldplay concert. You're like, well, what the hell? And so I don't watch Instagram or TikTok. If I don't watch TikTok, but if it's on, I don't have my sound on. Right, my phone's always on silent. My audio's down. I don't until I go to bed at night when I watch some ASMR videos, fall asleep. So I'm always on silent. So I just watch the clip, and you're right. The clip is amazing. The clip is. The moment that and she turns around and then it's great. I'm sorry for the family's potentially ruined, but it's great. The better part is when I did turn the sound on about 10 minutes before we went to air and heard Chris Martin, lead singer of Coldplay, going, "What's going on there? Oh, did we just get? Oh, they're having an affair." And like it's like, dude, and I loved it. And you know what? I'll also defend Coldplay. It's not my favorite band, but Coldplay's become this punchline. You write 3 songs worth the top 3 in Coldplay in terms of he's a talented individual. And now he maybe exposed some infidelity. But here's my pushback on it, Steve, okay? Here's my pushback on it. Has anything been confirmed that it's an affair? Do we know this? Is there any kind of divorce or separation preceding this?
Because I'm a little too online, Ken, I was doing some sleuthing this morning, and I was, may or may not have been looking through LinkedIn on a burner account because, for reasons, and so Ken, from my crude research,
Steve, hold up, time out. Are you trying to get another podcast producing job?
No. This is literally so you don't leave a paper trail of looking at things on your own main profile. That's all.
This is great.
It's fine. Anyway, I was gonna make an assistant producer joke, but I didn't want to make myself cry. I went down the LinkedIn rabbit hole, Ken. This dude is the CEO. The nice lady that he was embracing is their CPO or their Chief People Officer, which is a fancy name for their head of HR.
Oh, God damn it. Whoa, time out. Is that a thing now?
Yes. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, Chief
Fuck
People,
Gen Z. Is this a Gen Z problem?
Oh, no, this is a boomer thing. Oh, this is definitely a boomer thing.
Fuck the boomers.
Yeah, this is definitely a boomer
Chief
thing.
People Officer?
Yeah. Boomer into like millennials, I guess. But yeah.
All right. Continue.
Anyway,
sorry, Steve.
I mean, I don't know any Chief People Officers. They're not in my age bracket. Let's put it that way. Anyway, and the woman who is Ken, here's how deep it went. The woman who's next to them at like kind of the tail end of the video, who is grinning like
she's like laughing. She's almost like
she knows where all the bodies are buried, Ken, because she was just promoted by said woman who was just being canoodled to like be essentially her direct report in the HR department. So this woman knows and sees where all the bodies are buried, and so she's laughing because she knows she either just got the biggest raise of all time, or she knows she's gonna get made out in the settlement however she wants. Like. She's gold. Like she just had to stand there and be like, "Oh wow, I mean, what do I know?" But that's how far.
Yeah, sorry, Tully's right. Yeah, Gen X, innocent. Always innocent.
That's how. Yeah, we don't. No one remembers Gen X.
We're forgotten. So wait, was she promoted like today?
Like a couple weeks ago. Like I looked at the post, Ken. It was like 2 or 3 weeks ago because it shows you like 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. Like congratulations, so and so.
Okay.
Blah 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 blah. Yeah, it was a whole thing.
But we don't. So my question is, I'm not going to go into it, Steve, too much. Okay.
No, not at all.
Don't you prod, you little millennial, in your journalistic integrity. All right. We need more Sabrina Carpenter desk concerts. All right, got it. I was involved. Actually, to be honest, I was involved in a few situations over my lifetime in which the relationships were on the up and up, but they weren't supposed to be public.
Right.
Now, would I canoodle? No. But did I take vacations where you think you're safe and then you realize maybe you aren't? And you uncanoodle fast? Yes. So I have some sympathy for them, and I don't necessarily want to jump to the affair conclusion, though the rest of the world has made that the situation. But I only say that to say that this is still one of the best clips ever.
You don't have that reaction, Ken, if you're not supposed to be doing that, and it's not. You're the CEO. You can make the HR policy that, hey, the CEO is allowed to date the CPO, whatever the hell that is, all they want, right? But it's obviously not in the manual, right? The standard operating procedures things of the company, and so that's why he literally went down like he took a bullet, Ken. Because he has a missus at home, and she probably has a mister at home, and this is a whole thing.
Oh yeah, and this happened recently at a sporting event. I don't know. You sometimes see a post and it's already old by the time you see it, but this happened recently with like on a kiss cam.
Yeah,
maybe the problem's kiss cams. Maybe that's the problem.
Yeah, I mean there is the whole
people infidel in secret.
You should know that you could be on camera at any given time. You're out in public, all that jazz. Yeah. But you have to be. To be fair, thinking of just outside here. That takes some balls as a CEO to be just openly cuddling your CPO at the company retreat concert with your HR VP or whatever, someone, I don't know what her actual title is, but someone underneath you. Like that's a weird thing, man. That's a weird dynamic.
Yeah. Big City 2000, which reminds me of Sim City 2000, said the CEO has released a statement that seems to confirm the affair. Well, there you go. I just threw my personal experiences in there.
Right. And for the record, love is love. We've said that before. You do you, kids. Your private life is your private life. I just think it's really funny. As soon as the world saw it on camera, you went down like it was a presidential assassination attempt.
There was a smoother way to play that.
Yeah. Yeah, like literally any other way. Just
Steve, what would you have done? Steve, you're a man of honor and integrity. That's why you work here. There's no shady business going on in your house. Nothing at all. What would you have done?
I would have kept hugging her and just played it cool. Been like, yep, this is... Because then we would have kept it rolling, baby. Like, nothing... No one knows who they are. Like, no one on that...
No one knows who they are.
Right? Like...
Oh, see, this is a great point. Now...
Just keep it rolling.
Could someone from the company have been watching... No,
hey,
okay. Yeah,
Ken, but that's a way easier problem to deal with than you and I schmucking it up on the internet because we know about it.
Welcome to the Blathering Schmucking It Up edition. You're 100% right. You're 100% right, Steve. The only reason we're seeing this clip is because he did that.
Right.
If he doesn't do a thing, no one in that booth says something because they're all keeping a secret too.
Right.
No one says a thing. No one clips it out because it's just it's a couple at a Coldplay concert. How dare they go see Coldplay? Like that nothing would have gone out because we aren't seeing the other clips.
Right. Worst case scenario for them is like another employee who's at the concert sees it, takes a video of it, and it's in like a team chat or like a Slack channel or something like that, and then you shut it down. And then HR actually has to do their job minus the conflict of interest from that regard, right? But again, wouldn't be national news. It wouldn't be like 2 of the top 4 posts on Reddit today. It wouldn't be all over Blue Sky. It was hilarious. We had a moment today, Ken. It was a pop culture social media moment, and it wasn't about like the end of advanced civilization. So that was good.
I will fix you. All right. Thank you for that, Steve. I appreciate it. Excellent stuff. And I understand. I understand that I have upset the entire world with my late show. I'm a Letterman guy, man. This is devastating, but it is what it is. It is what it is. All right. If you want to get booked in a comedy club, have 1 million TikTok followers. That sucks, but that's where we're at. So unless we find some other way, this is the world we're at now. All right. You ready for some Game of Thrones?
Yeah, I mean, that's the only thing that could get like darker and more depressing, I guess, than that segue. So, I mean, I imagine Game of Thrones especially where we're at in the show, it's not going to get any better. So
it's not at a happy point. Jared, let's do some Game of Thrones, but first, how are you?
I love every time you bring me in for the segment. This is an awful world. Hey, what's going on?
It is. It's a good reprieve. How's Concept been playing? How's band practice going?
Oh, good. We're playing this Saturday, then next Friday, then next Wednesday after that, then next month. And like I said last week, we booked our Halloween show, so we're going to be promoting that later.
Nice.
Good times.
Good times indeed.
Oh, no, I was going to say, and to answer your question, I have actually never watched any of the late shows. Could have cared less.
I am trying to think the last time I watched a late night talk show in its like in natural environment, meaning I've seen clips and stuff like that. It is Letterman's final show, which was like I think over 10 years ago, and even then I had not watched him for probably 13 years. So, one man's opinion. All right. As we like to do here, Jared calls in with some Game of Thrones questions related to our Game of Thrones rewatch. We're up to season 6, episode 3. Jared, how you doing, buddy? Where are we going?
I'm doing good tonight. Yes, we got Oathbreakers 6, episode 3, written by D&D, directed by Daniel Stackham. And a fun fact about him, real quick, he's got a million TV credits to his name, but he's got one feature film to his name, The Glass House. Do you remember this movie, Ken?
No, I remember Martin Page's song in the House of Stone and Light, but no, I don't remember that house.
You know why you wouldn't remember this? This guy has the luck of his movie was theatrically released September 14th, 2001.
Oh, no.
Yeah, it lost a lot of money.
Oh, no. That's I'm sorry, buddy. Okay. Well, we can still watch it now.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So. But just to jump right into it tonight, we're going Beyond the Wall with Bran, our three-eyed raven, and our second flashback vision, we'll call him. And we're seeing the end of the revolt against the Mad King, and Papa Duke's going up against my man, the Sword of the Morning, Dane.
Just call him Sword of the Morning. I was so excited for this. Sir Arthur Dane is one of those book characters, one of those kind of book references, book pieces of knowledge that a book reader like me, who, as I've said before, didn't finish all the books until right before season 4, and I didn't start till after season 1. So I was late. The show brought me to the books, which is why I love both mediums. But I was one of those like, oh, you know who's pretty cool, but you're probably not aware? Arthur Dane, Sword of the Morning. Sir Arthur Dane, he was Kingsguard. And so to finally see it play out, and he has got my favorite. It's a great sequence. I love the two swords, no shield. Baller, straight baller. If that term even used anymore, I don't care, Jared. He's a baller. And then how it plays out, kind of a mystery revealed. Bran, seeing Howland Reed do what he did and kind of being like this first kind of like, even though a lot of us have lived with this, but like this first kind of like, whoa, what did Ned, like we like Ned. Ned's honorable, but like he obviously smudged some things along the way and just, I'm not saying that's right or wrong, but it's just fascinating to see Bran deal with that. I think Arya and Sansa have those kind of conversations a little bit later about mistakes of their father. But it has my favorite, Jared. This is why I get so excited. It has my favorite I wish you good fortunes in the wars to come moment. It's used throughout the show, obviously. That is my favorite one from Arthur Dane.
Oh, it's just perfect. He just has nothing more to say other than my wanted me here, and you shall not pass. And I love how you bring it right. Yeah. And I love how you bring up the honor of Ned, because he's better than my father, far better. But he beat him. I've heard the story 1,000 times. Right. Did he?
Right. Did he? Did he? And calling into question the stories we tell ourselves. I think that's not one of the giant heavy hit you over the head themes, but I have always taken it as that. Again, it's not even who knows what Ned said. Who knows? Did they pull? We know what happened with Lyanna and Lil Jon up there. We know that's connected, and so there's a lot of needed secrecy. So that's why I say it's not right or wrong. I just think it's fascinating that in a show that's like, hey, here's one of your heroes, one of your main characters. Now he's dead, but then his legacy, Ned's legacy's felt to the very end. And to have this kind of like, whoa, what actually happened, and what legends do we tell ourselves? It's like the show deals with prophecies and how everyone has a different interpretation and the danger of prophecies and what they can fuel people forward to do. But I love that they take the time with Bran to be like, hold on here.
Right.
Daddy said something different.
Right. And it's the Ned felt throughout all 8 seasons. We're in season 6 and we're learning something new about Ned, that because this is the first time you realize he's got secrets, and he's got white lies and bald face lies
Yes.
to him. And then like you said, to go into the future a little with Sansa and Arya talking about, he was a great father, but he did not raise us for the world.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's
Yeah, I think he struggled to see, to see Arya for who she wanted to be, even though he definitely eventually comes around on that. But I think some of those season 1 moments, and Sansa has her world, fortunately and unfortunately, for tragic reasons, but also I think for some good growth reasons, grows from the little bird to the queen that she is, and in spite of Ned in some ways. But I don't. For me, it's like it goes into areas. This is, where Game of Thrones is kind of speaking to me on. We all have that period of time, even if you have relatively good relationships with your parents, and I think generally speaking, these are good relations between Ed and his kids, including, for John, I would say too. But when you see your parents as a real person, and for me personally, part of that journey to make it really personal was like, not just anger and finger pointing and how can my parents do this, but also going, I don't know if I would have done any different. I don't know how I would have handled that situation. They'd give the world to me if they could. So they're going to protect me in ways that they feel is best, but maybe it's not always best. So I think it was fascinating to explore the Stark family in this way through just an amazing action sequence that had all of us Smug Book fans, at least me, very excited to see it. Did you have any book thoughts going into that scene?
This was the season where I started to read the book, so I hadn't caught up to that much, but I had heard about him enough from other friends and whatnot, and he also has my favorite sword. Dawn is just the legends and the honor behind Dawn, and my favorite part of that sword being you don't just inherit it, you earn it. You gotta be worthy of that sword. And that's just the meteorite of it all.
The meteorite falling to Earth. A lot of even rumors of Arthur Dane's sister and Ned, and it's a lot of wonderful lore all there in this wonderful sequence. So absolutely love it. A couple other big moments in the episode. Take me through them. You had a list. I know you were talking. Jon Snow at the wall. John at the wall.
Yeah, I mean it's another standard season 6 packed every episode. So much going on, but the big thing at the end is at the wall. John's resurrected. Tormund gives us the best joke. You can't be a god. I've seen your pecker. What kind of god has a pecker that small? Just the best. But it's the execution of the traitors, and why am I blanking on his name? Our main sir that gets
Sir Alistister Thornne.
Yes,
Sir Alistister Thornne. Yeah,
has another just you hate him, but you got to respect it. I fought, I lost, now I rest.
I'm probably on an island on Sir Alistister Thornne, but you might be on at least the shore of the island. He is complicated at best. I think I don't want to say bad guy. He's not, but he's coded as an adversary for people that we really like in the series, and he does make a lot of mistakes, including this one. Does things that I don't approve of, but constantly he just reminds me of that old crusty soul that has experiences you do not have, and that you need to stop and listen to. But he hasn't adapted. He hasn't changed. He has a fear. He holds on to what's in the past. He went to the wall with a mandate to keep whoever was on that side out from the Seven Kingdoms, and that was his duty, and that's what he did. And he lost a lot of men along the way, and he saw a lot of horrible things along the way. All the other stuff, especially the stuff John's talking about, he doesn't give a damn about. And I think that's wrong for Alistister Thornne to not adapt. But along the way, for me, it's not for everyone, his quote on leadership in season 4, and this moment, it's similar to when I love Stannis' ending of go on, do your duty. I'm not going to cry, beg, whimper. I'm going to go out on my shield. I'm already gone. Do what you have to do. I respect it in a weird way. Him saying I fought, I lost is to me, I have a lot of respect for it. Maybe it's the sports fan in me, but it's like, that's what happens. Well struck, well fought. I lost. I do it again.
It's that weird sense of honor, where you've got a lot of bad people in this world that don't even have their own twisted sense of honor, like a Ramsey Bolton, that we're getting more and more into. Like that boy has no sense of honor on any level. But Sir Alistair Thornne, being the cold-hearted dick that he is, still has a sense of right and wrong. I mean, when he lets Baldy get beheaded there, that's because that was the right thing to do.
Oh, yeah, Janice Lint. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that is his honor. He's a fascinating character. And even his one of his final lines is telling John, you're going to fight their battles. It's never going to end, paraphrasing. But, like, I think it's one of those correct statements. And John kind of faces that and learns that, later on and makes a decision based on that. But, again, it's never me saying that Alistister Thornne is 100% right. For me personally, it is part of this fascinating. It's Mance Raider too. It's like these guys that have really lived on the land and really know it, and times are going to change around it. Mance Raider is an example of someone who grew, who changed, who saw the true need for his people and how to get them together. That's why I love Mance Raider, and I think Sir Alistister Thornne is stark opposition to that. Oh, stark, pun intended. Sorry, but I deserve to die. Love the way he went.
Oh yeah, yep. No, gotta love it. And just to close it out real quick, a question from the chat from J&B. Yes, we do know where Dawn is. It is still seated at House Dane. Ned, being the honorable man that he did, returned the sword immediately after the war. And
that's right.
And Sir Arthur Dane was the last wielder of it, so it still sits above the mantelpiece.
There you go. We'll get a spin-off, the sword of the morning spin-off.
I mean, my head canon is that's Lightbringer. That could have killed the Night King.
Oh yeah, okay. I like that idea. There you go. Theories. Always got some theories. Jared, thanks. We're going to move on in season 6 to episode 4. I'm going to actually make sure I rewatch it, as I have been watching this season. It's been a lot of fun. As always, thank you, buddy.
No problem.
All right. There you go. Jared the Tide Pilot, little Game of Thrones chat. Steve, you're a sports guy. You know what I'm talking about, with those old crusty codgers who, as prickly pears as they are, have pearls of wisdom that you can't turn away from.
It's pretty much every good baseball manager I remember from the late 90s. You know what I mean? Like all of those. Well, I guess then they got old 10 years later. But yeah, to me it was all those guys. From pretty much every manager for the Phillies, Braves, Reds. I mean, you had Joe Torre for the Yankees, but he wasn't too curmudgeon. He was more of I don't know, maybe it was the hair dye that made him look less curmudgeon, but...
Well, hair dye, excuse you, sir. That was natural Italian goodness. Torre had his own kind of crust, right? He was, and I've talked on this show before, but I have a little bit of, or maybe he talked off air. I remember having this conversation with you, so maybe it was off air when we were playing Fortnite. Some of my favorite stories are Torre, this elder statesman by the time he gets to the Yankees. He was a little bit more fiery when he was in Atlanta, St. Louis, and other spots, but the Mets. But when he gets to, he's an elder statesman. It's kind of this second chance. No one like Joe Torre. He never got over the hump as a manager. What are you doing? And I love that he truly had players on his team that he'd pull aside, kind of, hey, David Cohn, did you see what David Wells did the other day? He did? Yeah. Yeah, anyways, we don't do that here. Maybe you should tell him. And he'd have these captains that would go keep the team in line. And I respect that kind of curmudgeon.
Yeah. I think Dusty Baker's a good one. Dusty Baker seems like a good curmudgeon.
Yeah, but really hip with it. Like, he was able to speak to modern players well into his 70s.
Right.
And Joe Torre might have been that as well. Some of the other ones.
He could speak to you, but he wouldn't put up with the shit. You know what I mean?
He wouldn't put up.
Yeah.
That's as much as I love to adapt and change and grow, and I try to be better. I fail daily. I mean this in all sincerity. I still feel there is a level of we still kind of need, which is the shut the fuck up level of life. which is in my whenever you hear me say kick rocks, which is a phrase a lot of people know, but that was my phrase in my old security days. That was when we are done. We are done. You have hit there are boundaries people need to hit. You have hit it, and we're done. And I think a good baseball coach will do that, or football coach.
Kick rocks is a good one. I'm a big fan of pound sand as well.
Pound sand is another one.
A good pound sand. No, Ken, this is a real thing. My wife is a teacher and has talked about how not only are the kids like just don't know how to read anymore, they don't know how to read a room. And that is a skill that is like weirdly kind of going away, and not just because we're spending so much time like virtually, but like weirdly social standards are going down. Kids don't have shame the way that they did before, or it's just different. So yeah, it's not good, Ken. The kids are not all right. At least not a lot of them.
And they're not going to have late night talk shows to watch.
Nope. No.
Just Jimmy Fallon.
No, they're not.
That's
not
where
that
we
were watching
learned.
it before, but true.
That's where we learned. We watched Dave be cold to a person he did give two shits about on his show.
Oh yeah, I watched Jay Leno be absolutely terrible to pretty much every woman that existed on late night television.
Yeah,
so,
constantly. Yeah. See, that's what we learned. All right, we got some sports at the top of the hour, but I want to do some calls. Hey, Plume's talking. We're going to talk about this on Anytime Tomorrow. Have you heard of the Gen Z stare?
I have. I'm familiar.
So, I guess it's a trend now. I sound like I sound like a late night talk show host. I guess it's a trend, or has it just been in place? What do you know of it?
It's less of a trend and more of just us olds are figuring it out and kind of learning about it, like we do everything a little bit later than the generation before us does. You know what I mean, Ken?
Sure.
So this is the Gen Z stare is coming out to us, kind of just the newer wave of the millennial pause. You know how like every time us millennials make a video, we start with like a big breath, or like say so, or like here we go, like, you know what I mean? There's like that instead of just like getting right to it kind of a thing.
These are just
another one of the things that
So okay, yeah,
right, exactly. So this is just another example of the younger you go, the shorter your attention span is, and the quicker you need gratification on everything. Don't get me wrong, I'm guilty of this as well. I'm a doom scroller just like the rest of us, but yeah, the Gen Z stare is a real thing. I've seen it. I've experienced it working with some young folks.
They just stare at you?
It hasn't been fun. Yeah.
So there's some people that don't know. They don't know. It's how I understand it. Plume sent me an article today. Is you go to a Burger King and you're ordering food and you're kind of bantering, hi, how's your day, and they just stare at you.
Right. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're waiting for you to do the thing that like triggers an action essentially, because they're all programmed to do like, okay, I'm waiting for this NPC because we're all NPCs, right? Everyone who's just not them or their group of friends or family, it's like we're just all just regular we're just bots.
NPCs,
right?
Yeah. We're bots. We're Fortnite bots in their world.
Exactly. No, we are though. Like that's this is how these kids like see the world, right? Again, I'm generalizing, of course.
Yeah, but Tully's. Thank you, Tully. I appreciate this. The Gen Z stares when they look at you awkwardly because they don't know how to process a social interaction.
Exactly. Yeah, right. And when you're talking about the fast food interaction, Ken, it's because they're waiting for that cue of, no, you're supposed to tell me what you want so that I do the thing that I'm supposed to be trained to do so that we can get on with this and then we can stop interacting, right? Versus social interaction pre-COVID, pre-everything being online was, hey, you and I are like interacting as human beings. How do we do that? Oh, we greet each other first, then we get into the business, and then we say politely goodbye, and then we move on with our lives.
Yes.
We've cut a lot of that shit out, Ken.
Yeah. And I understand. So the take on it for me is like, I don't like to force pleasantries or banter, though I'm a man of the people and I'm great with Ubers, security guards, workers, clerks. Like that's my forte, but I never force it. Where I've seen some boomers in action who are actually generally and genuinely very friendly, and that's their goal. Is just be friendly because we all got to live. But there is a little bit of removal of agency, right? Where it's like if you're walking your dog and you get your headphones in and someone's like forces oh my God, your dog, like I would put the blame on that person. So I want to make that clear because this isn't just being a curmudge. Even if it's that's why I was trying to ask if it's a trend. Are they people doing it on purpose? And maybe they are. Is it like chicken jockey? Like is it that thing?
No.
Or is it
it's a behaviure?
It's a behavior.
I think it's a learned behavior, and I don't think it's a bad thing or that it's their fault. I think it's just a natural. I think it's just they're products of their environment.
Of their environment. And that's and that's where I do get a little not even curmudgeon. The interactions are puttering is life, man. Puttering is life. I know you hate your job. I probably hate that I'm here at Burger King, but let's have this. And it's not inauthentic. I would argue with him that it is actually very authentic because we're two humans out living in the world. We both woke up, took a shit, and went out to the world today. We are equal. So let's have this interaction and get through this together. But I also understand I hate my situation, or I'm doing this job for the reason. Do your thing, I'll do my thing. I actually get it. I just also think this goes to what we talked at the top of the show. As much as I might be frustrated by this, because I'm a little frustrated by the concept of the Gen Z stare, it's not my world anymore.
Right. Yeah. Well, it's
not my world.
That's just those crumbs of conservative Ken that just haven't totally died.
Conservative Ken. In what way? I'm here. I'm listening. Steve.
It's that resistance to change. That's all, and that's totally natural. That's just the cornerstone of conservatism is that you are resistant to change. You don't necessarily want progress in all things. You like something, so why should it change? It's not broken. Don't you see it as it's not broken? Why fix it?
Right.
But everyone else sees it as everything is changing, everything is evolving. This is just a natural progression of this thing. Like literally everything changes. We like to see that the things that we like and love and grew up with don't change. But literally everything changes, and so we just have to. We all have different levels of accepting that.
No, I agree. I agree with it. I agree with it. I do. I just think it's to a point where I would call them rude in that situation. That's if you know what I mean.
Yeah. And they're gonna call you an annoying old asshole. Do you want a burger? Do you want it with cheese or without? Like, move on. Let's go. Why are you not using the self-checkout kiosk anyway, you dumb old bastard?
Yeah.
That's exactly what they're thinking.
Yes. Why do I have to do this? And then I would say, well, let me tell you something. You're not going to go anywhere in your life because you don't work hard at ditch digging. And if you work hard at ditch digging, no. I'm only half kidding because I have a lot of younger people around me. It's like, you got to work hard. You have to work harder. Yeah. Sorry. You have to, and you're not going to get where you want. And I'm sorry you're working at, because I used to deal with this in security, man. Yeah. With like the millennials when they first started coming in, it's like, great, I'm gonna fire you then, and you don't care and I don't care, but that's on you, not on me.
Yeah. Hey man,
that's what I was.
I just preaching to the choir, Ken. My 20s were grinding, man, and that's what they were. And now I'm halfway through my 30s, and I'm trying to, I
have nothing to show for it, Steve.
A little bit of that fruit. Well, no, I'm just meaning from my personal experience, but I get it. Like I grew up because I'm in that demo of a lot of millennials who kind of get that rap of just wanted to go to school, graduate, or not even go to school, or just kind of, and then just fall into they wanted to skip or they think it's wrong that you have to go through that kind of grind phase or that phase of being at the bottom of the totem pole. I worked with so many people that were just like 4 or 5 years younger than me that were just like in a position that I was in for 4 or 5 years. And it wasn't just me being like, oh, I did it, you have to do it too. It was more of just like, dude, our job's fucking easy. Like you're complaining about that. Like you're posting social media, you're doing this, you're doing that, like, or whatever it is. Like, you have to understand the decision-making process and things like that. That's where shit gets hard, not the doing of the work stuff. The doing of the work stuff is just because it's a whole thing. We don't have to get into corporate structure, but you know what I mean? Like it's, yeah.
Oh, I hate corporate.
But I'm not saying the kids don't want to work. I'm not that guy. Don't get me wrong.
No. I'm talking about
work anymore, Ken.
Specific. No, but it's not about. It's because I just had a conversation with a friend of mine in her 50s who's like, I'm not gonna put the company before my life anymore because that's also what we did. Like, I didn't have a Christmas for 17 years. That's why when someone's like, "What do you think of a family?" It's like, family's not important to me because I didn't have it for 17 years. I worked 31 straight hours. And when I do that, I get no, because it's for a company that doesn't care about me. I'm gone. No one even remembers that I worked there anymore. You know what I mean? Right. So like, I agree with Tully. Like hard work isn't rewarded, hasn't been in my lifetime. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about when someone comes to me and says, I want to start a podcast because I want to make a career as a podcast. Work for it.
Yep.
You're going to have to give up family outings. You're going to have to give up. I go on stage on national holidays. If that's what you want, that's what I'm talking about. And if you wanted to be a CEO who goes to a Coldplay concert and cheats on your wife, you're going to have to work hard to get that if that's what you want. But like if right now I get a job at Target, no, I'll Gen Z stare with the best of them. I'll be nice doing it. So I think I want to be clear about that when I say
No,
working.
yeah.
I'm just saying there's so many people who have come to me in the last 15 years. I'd like to do what you do.
Yeah.
Cool. I release 4 episodes of Force Center a week. You release 1 every 3 months, which is fine unless you're coming to me and say, I want to make money off this. Then you got to work for it. That's what I'm saying.
Right. Ken, that's why I'm here. I got out of school and I was offered a job at the local big network news station. They wanted to give me $10 an hour to work the overnight shift. Ken, I don't know if you understand how much $10 an hour is not going to... I would have to live with 6 people to afford rent where I live to work $10 an hour. And I had a girlfriend and a dog that needed a yard. And so, yeah, that wasn't going to cut it. And so I did other stuff. And now I'm here, Ken. So that's... Circle.
That's 17 years and you got stuck. But yeah, we're on the same page. I'm serious about the fact that I'm not saying. I have been grumpy in my life, and folks who, it's like I'm grumpy at myself. I should be a better stand-up, but why not? Because I don't work for it.
Well,
where some people I know wake up and they write jokes for 11 hours, or they get better and they do 17 shows a week. And like I'm not doing that. So when I complain to myself that my stand-up's not as good as I want it to be, I'm to blame because I'm not working for it.
This is why I always stick up for athletes when my Reagan Republican dad bitches about, these athletes shouldn't complain so much. They make millions of dollars, blah, 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 blah. When you're looking at people who are, the 0.01% of how good they are at their craft because they've been doing it since they were 7 years old, and they've been doing it. They gave up their entire social life from the time they were 7 years old to their mid-30s, essentially, to be so good at something and blah, 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 get rewarded for it. So that's kind of the way I look at it. Like, if you want exactly what you're saying, Ken, if you want to make it as a, any kind of entertainment thing, you have to have that level of dedication in a sense, in the same way that professional athletes do, because you need that level. It's that competitive almost. So.
If you want, sorry, I've been fascinated by this. We keep going for narcolepsy. He says, how many experiences have I missed with my kids of being on call for IT? Too many to count. Did it pay off? No. Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Like, yeah, that's not hustle culture I like. But if you grew up and were like, I'm going to be the best IT guy in the world, that's the cost of it. Stevie Nicks saying, I gave up a normal all my dreams of having a family and everything gone because I wanted to make this happen in my life, and I did, and I'm about that. You know what I mean? Like that. It's the Seinfeld. It's just, I'm bringing in Seinfeld, but it's the Seinfeld thing for the comedian Doc talking about the Glenn Miller Orchestra and watching them through. Or they land and have to trudge through the snow, and they look at a house, and there's a warm Christmas night where the family putting turkey on the table, and there's mom, dad, and the kids, and one of the members of the orchestra looks at the other one and goes, "Ew, how can people live like that?" Like that's the dividing line. If you're not prepared to do that, then you're not doing it.
Right. Yep.
All right. All right. Next up, calls.
Calls. Let's do it.
All right. Let's do Aiden. Aiden's here. Hi, Aiden. Aiden, you're in the show. What's up?
Hey, Pit Boss. How you doing?
I'm okay. Steve called me a Nixon-era Nazi.
What?
I didn't know they had Nazis in the Nixon era.
They did. They had different titles. I'm kidding, Steve. Calm down. Put your knife down. You Che Guevara rebel. All right, Aiden, what's on your mind, buddy?
Well, I was listening to your conversation about those great baseball managers, and reminded me of. I found myself watching the movie 42 the other night about Jackie Robinson, which is an excellent movie. And one of my favorite performances, there's a lot of great performances in it, Harrison Ford and obviously Chadwick Boseman, but one of my favorites is actually, if you haven't seen it in a while, is Christopher Maloney plays Leo DeRocher, who was the manager of the Brooklyn Dodgers at the time. He gives, and if you like good movie speeches, he gives one of the best getting the house in order speeches that I highly recommend checking out.
I never saw 42, which is crazy because it was during the Schmoes era, I believe. And I remember thinking, oh, great, I'll want to go see that and cover it and whatever. And I just never did. And that's what happens with me. I miss something and my life goes on and I don't worry about it. And I forget that I even have that movie exists. So I'm glad you reminded that. Maybe I'll seek that out and watch that this weekend.
Yeah, I highly recommend it. And the main thing I want to talk about was I was listening to you the other day. You were talking a little bit about Eternal Sunshine. You were talking a little bit about 500 Days of Summer. And I found myself in a similar situation where, you discussed a little bit about how some of those movies have aged and, how... And I found myself in a similar situation because I started watching a show that was a little before my time. I mean, I was alive when it came out, but I started watching The Shield, and it was just on Hulu, and I was like, "I'll give this a shot." And I was shocked at how well it had aged. And I was wondering, is there a show or a movie that you can think of that you've gone back to that you're like, "Wow, this has really withstood the test of time"?
God, that's a great question because it's difficult to find that. But and it's fine. I never watched The Shield. Michael Chiklis at his peak Chiklis before he'd go on to play Red Auerbach. But I was, trust me, in an environment where I think every other person I worked with loved that show. But in terms of standing up, gee, you're racking my. I'm gonna have to rack my brain here because do I go comedies or do I go something more poignant? I don't know. I'm going to have to sit on that, Aiden. In terms of your question is, have I watched it recently and gone, and I just don't know. I'm drawing a blank. I'm sorry. Steve got one?
I think I've got one. Sure. It's not. It's a show that holds up because it's aware. It's like self-aware of its time in this sense, and that's because. And I did do a rewatch of this recent with my wife, and that's Buffy. It is very aware that it is made during its time, but you can still go back and watch it and enjoy it because of, I don't know, like the way that it does still kind of like a monster of the week structure. There's a bunch of episodes in a season, all that kind of stuff. So you get that classic episode structure, but the way they approach stuff like technology in the show isn't too like dated in a sense. And the way that they do, when they do use technology, it is, I don't know, a little self-aware. So I enjoyed that. I thought that held up from what they were trying to do sense.
Great choice, but also interesting choice in terms of holding up not the people behind it, but one person.
Well, no, that and the special effects maybe, but you know what I mean.
There's special effects I don't worry about, but yeah, special effects are it is what it is. Star Wars, the original trilogy still holds up, but not all the effects do. To the generations.
But yeah, no, Joss Whedon, not the best guy. Get that?
Yeah.
No, I'm with you on Buffy there. That was it actually does a lot of things that I think The Shield does, where The Shield is very of its time as well. It was 2002, 2008, I want to say, but it gets the music right, it gets the locations right, it just gets some of the fashion choices, just what people were doing. It gets that period right, and it just there's times where you're watching and you're just are they in the hood? It just feels very. The way it's shot just feels very
modern show, right? I get that. So maybe I don't know. Maybe I'll rewatch My So-Called Life and see if that one season holds up. No, great question. I might come back with an answer once I actually think about it.
Yeah, sure.
Love it, Aiden. Thanks for calling in, buddy. I appreciate you.
Of course, good to be here.
All right, Aiden calling in. I feel so bad, Steve. I'm just. Everything I've ever watched is racing into my brain right now.
Okay, well let's see if we can find it here. I mean, again, I feel like you were almost offended by my Buffy suggestion, but it really comes from a
No. Tell me about. First of all, I've never seen a second of Buffy.
Really?
Never seen a second of Buffy. Okay. So I don't have a lot of skin in the game, so to speak. But I just think it's funny because just like this week, Alan Tudyk jumped into a little bit of a frying pan on the Katie Sackhoff show, saying he thinks Joss is a great guy and should come back, and that's we're just gonna let the water we'll let the water ripple on that. That's why I was just wow, timing. But that's also the conundrum of Whedon, right? You could pick apart some of his stuff. Someone else said Firefly, but I think that was also the pain of it. This is someone who put some stories out there that meant a lot to a lot of people.
Yeah.
And that's why that's why you had that reaction when I said Colbert got canceled, and you were like, what did he do?
Yeah. I really did. I was really worried Colbert did something very naughty. Here's another one. This is another also left field, but follow me on this one. The Golden Girls.
I haven't seen it since 1985, unless you count hanging out with my pal Jen Miro, who is a Golden Girl. Her, house it has a Golden Girls patio and everything. She's my Golden Girl.
That's amazing.
But what holds up about it? I'm fascinated by that.
No.
It's a funny show.
Yo,
What is it?
Yeah, hilarious show, but it was my Golden Girls story was when I lived with just my mom, that was our, eat it over dinner show. We would sit down, we would watch, because it was on like Lifetime or something for like an hour right around dinner time, right? So we would watch two episodes of the Golden Girls every night with my mom. Anyway, it was a story of the week, but also like in a weird. I saw this later as a kid in like Boy Meets World, where it was like teaching you a lesson in a sense, you know what I mean? Like trying to be very gentle about things. But that's like, I learned so much as a kid from that show about like different societal things. Like that was, they covered, gay rights issues in the late 80s and early 90s. They covered AIDS. They covered all sorts of these things that just were not,
the show would not. The show doesn't get credit for it because it's forgotten. It just becomes a pop culture punchline in a way. Yes.
And when you go back and watch it, you're like, damn, like that's really, not only do the jokes still hold up because it's really funny, like all of the characters are still hilarious and the tropes all still work, but like they handle a lot of those things that we still struggle with today, I think, really well 35 years ago, 40 years ago than a lot of stuff does now.
Fascinating.
Man, if you haven't seen Golden Girls, give that just get yourself a thing of Ben and Jerry's after a night of drinking or something. Maybe get yourself make you a brownie or something and watch some Golden Girls.
I wouldn't take a brownie from Alden on my life. I will be naked from the waist down in the high desert, screaming like a wolf or something. I wouldn't do that. Maybe I'll watch that with Miro. I'll watch that before Deep Space Nine. I'll tell you that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. It's a quick watch too. It's your classic, network sitcom. It's like 24 minutes. Yeah, whatever it is. Yeah.
22 and a half. Yeah, there you go. Yeah. Tully's right. MASH continues to be great.
Yep.
I'd love to rewatch some MASH. Yep. All right. At least one more call. If you want to call in, there's still some time to call in. Appreciate you all being here today. A lot to talk about, a lot to get to. Oh, we were going to do some sports. A little bit of sports. Yeah. Sorry. And then we got a call from Sean. I don't mean to cut out sports because I love sports. I'm so excited for the football season, Steve. How many days till it?
49 days until football, Ken. That is 4.9 mooches for anyone counting at home. And the Canadian caper in the Iranian hostage crisis assisted the American hostages for 49 days. They hid with the Canadians for 49 days before getting out of Iran. While the crisis itself lasted much longer, they hid with the Canadian caper for 49 days.
Oh, yeah. Okay, I love that.
There's not a whole lot of shit for 49 days, dude.
No, there isn't.
I'm really
I grew up in those times, but didn't know what was going on. But there was people in my life who told my dad to don't sign me up for kindergarten because Jesus is coming home because of the Iran hostage situation. So I'm still here. here.
Yeah, well, we're all here. We're all still here.
I'm still here.
Yeah.
So I'm so excited for the NFL season. Quarterback, I keep railing on how much I enjoy it. It's a little different this year. I actually think quarterback season 2 is less good than season 1 in terms of an all-access doc. Very clearly, they did not have as much access, or were not given as much access by the participants. Because the last season, like, you were in the Mahomes family every week. Like, you were in, Brittany Mahomes was making you breakfast. Like, it was that. And then it almost went by week, but like each episode maybe covered 2 games or something like that. This one, like, Kirk Cousins got benched and you got pulled from that game, and like now we're like 5 games ahead, and you're like, whoa, give me a moment. So a little complaint about that, but just watching the game broke down by these quarterbacks and watch these plays. I'm excited, Steve, but at the end of that excitement rainbow is all these questions about the Dolphins, and it hurts me.
I imagine you have a lot of questions about the Dolphins. I think we all have a lot of questions about the Dolphins. Have you watched Hard Knocks? How does quarterback compare to Hard Knocks?
Hard Knocks, if it's your team, is better. Hard Knocks, if it's not my team, I get pulled in a little bit. I don't watch it all the time. I didn't watch. I started watching the Bears training camp one. I didn't finish. I just forgot.
Yeah.
And that's what I do with a lot of things. If I just don't think about it, if I forgot that I was watching you, that's not a good sign for me. My personal perspective on it. If you're a Bears fan, it was great. The Dolphins Hard Knocks last season was one of the best TV shows I've ever watched. Like, I would recommend it to non-sports fans. Yeah. Like, it was amazing to watch. But that's because I got to know my team.
Right. Yeah, the Bears one last year was like famously boring. A lot of people checked out on that one because
really?
The Bears were just lame. Yeah, it was just not a good
the Bears.
one. But now they're doing this year they're doing in season, I think, with the NFC East. They're doing all sorts of different things, so you have hard knocks basically from the preseason through everything. And
okay,
so we'll see because they did off season last year. The Giants made them fools themselves. No one wants to do that again.
Right.
So yeah, it's a whole thing. So yeah, but speaking of football. We are going to do fantasy football. We've talked about that here, so we're going to do that here coming up in August. Details will be in the Discord, so that will be the level of eligibility you will need to participate. You'll need to be in the Discord. So if you're interested,
the base level of the Patreon page, patreon.com/Ken Napzok. We'd love to have some people jump on, but the base level, the $1 level, the friend level, we'll make sure it's open for that.
Yeah, so we'll get everybody in there. I will organize that. Details to come on that. But other than that, I don't know. There was some other like football, like other news. I saw Von Miller got signed with Washington. There's some football news going on. We're in like, this is, like I said, this is like sports week hell right now as far as nothing going on because the All-Star game, the ESPYs were last night. Shane Gillis made some jokes.
Yeah, he did, and sometimes I think he's really funny. Other times not so much, but. We didn't talk about the All-Star game was starting right when I was finishing.
Yep.
After a few innings in, I sat down and made dinner. All right. Here you go. You correctly observed that I still can buff up against change, Steve. I think after sleeping on it, I think I liked the All-Star game bonus home run derby to decide it all. I think I like that.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I'm glad you embraced this change. This is amazing. We need to do this for so many other things can be fixed with home run derbies that aren't even baseball, Ken.
Politics, elections?
Yes.
Comes down to a tight. Forget the Electoral College.
Put two of those old dudes in a batting cage and say, "Here's 10 pitches. How many do you hit?" Like, wait, your bill goes through. Go to hell. Like, let's do this. It gets so much more entertaining.
Instead of old school,
it's better than Ghost Runners.
Right. Instead of old school duels, you home run derby. Steve, I challenge you to a home run derby. 3 pitches.
If we're talking politicians, Ken, I think I would still probably rather stick with duels, but that's just me.
Oh, that's dangerous. That's dangerously close to YouTube's moral line. The line that they just hold
come on. YouTube
the time.
loves Hamilton. Get out of here. Come on.
Hamilton. Speaking of that, he should be back at the end of the month or into August for some science. All right, we got a couple calls. We got Sean. Sean's here. Sean McCabe's here. Then we got Brady. What's up, Shawnee?
How you doing, brother?
I'm good. I'm just, my biggest thought right now is, am I going to microwave the noodles and broccoli or the mac and cheese?
Good choice. Well, whatever your heart desires, I guess.
We'll see. Game time decision. What's on your mind, Sean?
Been a great week, man. Saw Superman the other day with my brother for our birthday. That was a great time.
Nice.
Yeah, ended up hanging out on the stoop with a Navy buddy of mine, and then what else? Tomorrow, I got my kid coming home from camp, so I can't wait to see him.
Love that. What kind of camp did you send him to?
Regular old summer camp.
But what? Okay. Is that? I never went to a summer camp. Nor did I. Going on there? You didn't either? Well, yeah. Different times. What there was probably demonic serial killers there. My parents wouldn't send me there.
Oh, yeah, sure. Absolutely.
Was he playing some games? What happens there?
What's he got going on? Fishing, hiking. He's got a damn obstacle course with a zip line. It's pretty cool.
Oh, see, I wouldn't. Yeah, then okay.
So is this like Boy Scouts, Sean?
Not even, man. Just a regular camp that any city kid would go to from here.
Okay. I don't want to pry, but because Ken, I did camp. I know what goes on at camp, but this is very, very dependent on how old you are and what camp you went to.
You're a spicy man.
You're on the right road there, Steve.
I'm just saying, if little mini Sean here, we're just all talking hypotheticals. I don't want to put anything to talk about your son or anything. We're all talking But if Sean's son was say 11 to 15, this is a very different camp than if he was say 8 to 11. And if he's 11 to 15, he is at least if you go into the camp that I went to, Ken, he's learning how to smoke cigarettes. He's learning how to make fires. He's learning, he's learning, how to talk and approach to girls and things of that nature. That's what
it's going to be all these social interactions that we were speaking of earlier.
So maybe he'll learn the Gen Z stare. Jared, the Tie Pilot, says, "Oh, I have camp stories. Have it on good authority. Heard through the grapevine, written on the bathroom wall. Camp is where Jared learned to play the flute. So I think it's a good camp."
Here's the bit, though. My boy's got a bit of years of camping under his belt with me, though.
Well, what are you
how
teaching
does this
him?
play out?
I don't know. But now he's away from it.
He's camping. I'm teaching him how you would, pitch a tent. Here's how you build a fire. I mean, like simple things like this, man.
Sean, pitch a tent was not the first thing to go for there. I'm just saying. Pitch, just literally anything but pitch a tent.
Sorry.
I apologize.
No, there's a great band called 50 Cent Haircut, and they have a song called Pitching a Tent for Jesus, which is about going to church camp. I recommend you all listen to that song, 50 Cent Haircut. Sean, I'm glad, first of all, your family's going to be reunited this weekend. I'm glad you got to see Superman. You sent me a message saying you and your brother had a good time, but publicly, you had a good time.
It was great. Yeah. A very good summer so far, bud.
Sounds like a very East Coast summer. You're having a wonderful stoops, camps, Superman.
Nothing better.
Nothing better. Sean, thank you for calling in, buddy.
Always a pleasure, pal.
All righty, Sean, check it in from the New York area there. Let's roll into Brady. He's calling in about some generational libel. That's what he's got. All right, Brady, let me have it.
What the hell is this Gen Z stare? Like, what
I don't know. Aren't you in Gen Z? Are you a Gen Zer or are you're a young millennial? What? I forget you.
99. I don't know. Where do you place that? Wait, I haven't been doing it this whole time, have I?
No, that's why I was I don't think I've actually experienced the Gen Z stare.
Well, so is it just like you say some like small talk and you just get like a stare? Like
Steve seems to know more about this than me. Steve,
yes,
they staring?
Yes. God damn it, Brady. And for the record, Brady, yeah, if you're born in 99, you're a Zoomer, you're Gen Z. You don't remember what the world is like before the internet or 9/11. That makes you can't be a millennial. That's my rule.
I think that's good.
I have one memory before 9/11.
Yeah, but
no,
it's
you
not
don't. You were 2 years old. No, you don't. You're a dirty liar.
Goo goo gaga boo 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 boo. Like you were. Yeah,
That's my
you
first
don't.
memory.
Yeah.
I was 2 years old.
I don't doubt that.
I do.
No, you know what I mean. I don't doubt that you have. I have a memory of John Lennon being assassinated, but I don't really, and I was 4. So, all right.
Anyway,
Brady,
I digress. Yeah.
Defend your generation.
Well, I'm gonna defend the older part of the generation. I don't know what those young.
Oh, you hear this heel turn there, Steve?
Old. I'm getting old apparently. So see what is it?
So it is a there's like a half mouth open almost stare. It is a they're almost looking down on you, but metaphorically in a sense, but also kind of literally. It's just that isn't always the case if they're taller than you or whatever. But it's like a half a second look of why are you talking to me or addressing me the way that you are. Like it is a reaction to the social interaction that you have started is not going the way they intended, or they don't want to have it at all.
So Brady, have you experienced this? Do you do this when you're on the bus? What do you get?
Well, I don't think I've experienced this before. Damn, wait, is it like in a company environment?
It's if I go to Del Taco, Steve, jump in here and correct me if I'm wrong.
Okay, yeah.
If I go to Del Taco and I walk up and they go, "Hi, can I help you?" and I go, "Hey, how you doing?" and they don't respond to me, they just stare at me with a mouth half open, waiting for me to go, "I'll have 2 soft tacos and a burrito, a Veggie Works burrito." The in between, Brady, they don't want to live in that. With me asking how their day, because they know I don't care about their day. Though my argument is, in this moment, I just want to see if you're not going to jump off a cliff because I'm trying to jump off a cliff. Like, I'm just trying to be human. But they want to just go to the burrito. Steve, that's
We need
somewhat,
hidden
right?
cameras. We need hidden cameras of the Zoomers interacting with each other in these environments, Ken, so we can learn.
That's a good
What
point.
do they want? You know
Steve,
what I mean?
this is a great point because Brady's kind of brings, because again, and I'm trying to make people, I don't force it on people. Like if I walk up and I go, hey, how you doing? And I don't get a response, I move on. The neighbor across the street that puts up a giant American flag that touches the ground because it's so big, I have been behind him in line, and he's the type of dude that would be like, I asked you a question. How you doing? Come on. Can't we be friendly? And that, I would be on Gen Z's side. I want that to be clear. That, I would be on their side. If I get into an Uber and I go, hey, how you doing? And the guy starts talking, because I've had some of the best conversations in my life with Uber drivers. Really, truly, honestly have. But if hey, how you doing? Doing good, and that's it, I don't force it. But Brady, you being Gen Z, what do you do in this situation?
I think I have a hypothesis about this. So I think a lot of the Gen Z, like the younger ones entering the workforce, during the pandemic, like your social development was like on pause. Like for me, I still feel like I'm, 3 years ago, because like the pandemic just like.
Sure. That's fine.
I haven't physically talked to a person for like 2 years straight, basically.
Yeah.
Or like I didn't see their faces for 2 years straight.
People graduated high school in virtual rooms, and I feel you on that. Yeah.
Yeah, and so I imagine if I was a mid-teenager, right? Like if I was like 16 and 17, and I was doing like, I don't know, a front-facing retail job, right? I wouldn't know how to respond necessarily to someone being super friendly because, in school you're like, you are being told stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then there's like a super casual with your friends, but there's no in between like there is in a lot of these public facing jobs. And
okay, it's making sense.
Yeah.
Steve, does that make sense? What does Gen Z want? Has Brady answered this for us?
I think kind of, yeah. I think at the end of the day, Gen Z wants to get it over with. They just want to move on. They want you're here for a burger, you're here for a coffee, just tell me you want a coffee, swipe your thing and get the hell out of the way so I can clock out sooner. And not because I don't want to work anything, but just because that's what the transaction is. That's what we're here for.
What I signed up for, is to sell you a coffee.
I
not
signed
to
up
be
for
your
that.
friend.
You signed up to come buy a coffee and not ask me a million questions. It's kind of like when you go get a haircut, right? Like, are you the person, Ken, who wants to like talk your hairstylist's ear off the whole time?
We have long conversations. Richard,
I would
Richard
love to hear from like a 19-year-old like how common that is now, because I imagine like Gen Z and Gen Alpha just like would love to even just put AirPods in during their haircut and be like, I'm not here.
But also, every barber, because I go to a barbershop by an old guy. It's Richard in Burbank. Like you all can look about. It's the old school barber here. But all the other barbershops in my area, like literally, you drive by, they all have Ring cameras on. They're all filming it for content.
Wait, what?
That's wild.
I'm not even. This is not hyperbolic for the show. I'm being serious here. Everyone I drive on, I almost said the street, so y'all can find where I live. It's a known area in Burbank. It's like this kind of village area. There's like 5 barbershops. Every one of them is open till like 10 o'clock at night and has Ring cameras and their video and they're recording content. So I don't even know if we can get that answer, Steve. That's a great question. Brady, when you get your haircut, do you talk to your barber?
I will say, when I was younger, I was complete silence. I didn't talk at all. But now I catch up. I see him I see her every like 2 months or so. What happened these past 2 months? And yeah, it just
okay. It's like and it's your world. I like Cameron's point here. He thinks he's going to get me upset. Cameron thinks I'm going to be mad at him. I think Gen Z has a unique cultural experience. No memories with the internet. Many people prefer to shrug us off rather than engage with an understanding we might engage differently. Yes. No counter to that. But the addition to that is welcome to the party, pal. That is every generation. That is the problem. That's what Steve was checking me on earlier. Like, you don't want to be my neighbor who is like, we all should be friendly, and I'm in your face yelling you about it. Vote Trump. Like that's not generational exchange. What Cameron's talking about is, you are currently in the kids phase where we're not understanding. So I'm trying to understand it. I understand it. Talking it out loud here, I understand. My career, my life does not depend on me selling you this Del Taco. So let's just get on with it. I can get behind it. Brady? Yeah,
I think
go, Steve.
part of it also. Oh wait, Steve. You know?
No, I was just saying, Ken, I imagine that your neighbor across the street absolutely asks every waiter what their first name is and calls their waiter by their first name when they are tables away every time they go out to eat.
Oh, that's a great one. That is a divided line, because if I see your name tag, I will address you by your name.
I feel like, as someone who worked as a server for a very short period of time, not that long, I just say excuse me or help. Don't call me my name. We're not there.
But I don't yell it across the room. Steve,
right.
come
That's
over.
another. Yeah, your neighbor absolutely does.
Yes,
What I'm saying.
If I see it and you come back and you're like, hey, can I get you some more bread rolls? I go, yeah, thanks, Steve. That'd be great. That's it. And Mark Ellis and I are loved at every restaurant we go. So I do it in a way I can, not everyone probably likes it, but I don't do it like my neighbor.
Regulars are another thing, but yeah, if you are like, hey, Katie, hey, sweetie, three tables down.
Oh,
you know
the
what I mean?
sweetie, yeah. Fuck the sweetie. Yeah,
There's
fuck the
always
sweetie.
one of those guys. You know what I mean? Like, it's
Yes.
all, you know exactly who I'm talking
That's
about.
my neighbor. I tell you, my
that's
neighbor,
your neighbor for sure.
a fire truck, a goddamn fire truck with the woo-woos on, showed up to deal with something at another neighbor's house, but it parked kind of near my neighbor's house, and he walked out and was like, "Hello, boys, you guys need some waters? I got some water." And they were like, "No, get away."
I thought he was gonna say, "Do you need some help?" Because I totally would have gotten that too.
and those firefighters were Gen Z. They were just like, "What? No, we don't want your. No, what are you doing?" And he's that guy. Yeah. There's a fine line. Yeah, there you go. All right,
like
Brady.
there's one thing firefighters aren't lacking, Ken. It's water. Sorry.
That's almost wordplay, and I quite frankly don't appreciate it. Brady, here's what I want you to do. I want you to go to a fast food joint and see if you can find a Gen Z stare in the wild.
I'll pay attention to it. And I just wanted to yes and Steve's point a little bit. I think if you go further into Gen Z, a lot of people, they don't want to inconvenience. I know it's like your job as a service person in the service industry to like talk to people, but like there's a thing I guess in us that we don't want to inconvenience you. So if there's like something wrong with the order, we'll be like, "I'm sorry, I don't want to do this," or just like
Sure,
leave it be.
Well, I just eat it.
Yeah. Like if I was given the wrong order, I'll just eat the wrong order. I don't want to bother them.
Love it. All right, Brady, you're a good one. Not a good Gen Z, or just a good human. All right.
Thank you.
Every generation has great, wonderful people in it, and every generation has absolute dickheads. So, Brady, you're one of the great ones. I appreciate you calling.
I try to. Thank you.
All right, Brady. We're almost out of here. I think we solved some things tonight, Steve. I think we solved some things.
We did. No, we solved some good things.
One thing that I feel as though I have to completely make sure I'm fully understand here. I'm also a comic, so my job is to enter a room of 200 people and connect with as many of those people as possible. That's just how I see the world.
Yeah.
And that's a different situation. You're buying a ticket. I'm not saying it's the same as Del Taco. I'm just like, I acknowledge you're a human, and you probably don't want to be selling me a taco, so let's just have a decent time while doing it. But if they don't want to engage, Steve, I'm not going to engage.
No, they want to buy a ticket to go there, to buy a drink, to take the pictures for social media, to be there, to experience the people around them, to hear the funny man on stage tell jokes. You're just part of the vibe, the aura, the ambiance. You are just part of the experience. The funny man on stage is part of the going out and having the drinks and doing the comedy show. And you know what I mean? Like, just the same way the lights and the sound and the music, Ken, it's that. You're part of the experience, right? Whereas I think different generations experience that differently from, like, whether they see it as the art or they see it like they're a fan of the thing, you know what I mean? Like that, I think, a fan of the person specifically, and we're all experiencing things a little differently, and the young people are experiencing. But I think that's just a different, me and my wife had an interesting conversation about this. They experience themselves so much differently than other generations, if that makes sense. Like they go to places in little pods or in groups just like everyone else, but like their experience is like so together, even though they're always on their phones and everything, versus going for the thing, if that makes sense. Like when we go to a football game, we go to watch the football game. They go to like be with each other at the football game, if that makes sense.
It totally makes sense. Yeah. And you just called me an NPC at a comedy club, and it's pretty true. I do like final point. I do like what at the end of the day, I agree with Laserbolt. You don't really need to engage to simply be nice. And I'm not even talking about the stare. I'm just talking about all of you out there when you step out in the world tomorrow. Smile if you want to. Smile if you need to. Smile if you can. It's a lot going on. All right, Steve, we did it. Big show tonight. Big show.
Big show. Lots of
Big
fun.
show.
Thank you so much, as always.
Thank you so much. All right, folks. What's today's Thursday?
Thursday. Sure is.
Quick show Saturday. I do have 2 shows this weekend. Show Monday. Then I'm out for a couple days. And then I'm actually out for an entire weekend a little bit later, helping a friend who is had a medical near damn tragedy and needs 24-hour care right now. So I'm going to be hanging out with a pal, making sure he's okay. But the shows will go on. Don't forget to check out Blathering Backstage. We got clips. We got shorts. We also got Steve hanging out with y'all there. So that's it for now. We'll see you soon. Bye.